So you might have seen me calling out a lot of the bullshit that's happening in the training industry, and I can honestly say there's a lot of people rattled the fact that I'm teaching people how to read accounts. If you go on Companies House, you'll see that people's claims, if they match what they actually say. So do they have the assets that they say? Do they have the profits they say? And when they're talking about they have these big businesses and they've scaled things to 4-5 million turnover a year, and you go on, if you go on Companies House, click on the file section, you'll be able to see how many employees they have, because their accountants are having to sign that off. They'll be in charge of their payroll, so they're not going to lie on there. If you go check our friend out, Mrs. Abby Uckway, you'll see that she's got one employee, which is probably her on her own business. And if it's not, she's got one employee. Let's keep it real. You don't scale 4-5 million pound businesses with one employee. I've started and grown multiple businesses to multi-million pound level. I don't think I've had anything less than probably 14 staff to be able to grow that level, especially if it's an estate agent or something like that. There's obviously certain businesses where you can be very lean, but if you're talking about estate agency and stuff like that, you're not scaling a business like that to 4 or 5 million unless you've got probably 15 members of staff, and that's probably on the low side. I would say you'd be probably above 20 to be at that sort of level. If you think about it, if they make say £1,000 a house, okay, then they're having to sell 1,000 houses to do $1 million. So they'd have to sell 4,000 houses in a year to be at 4 million turnover. So you do the maths on it. But this shit needs to stop. This fucking out and out lying bastards. Do you know what I feel for? I'm alright. I'm sorted. I'm fortunate that I've been in business now since around 2002. So what's that? 23 years. I've done well for myself. I've always stayed lean. I've never lived beyond my means. Something my dad always taught me. So even when I was making £100,000 a year back in 2006-ish, which is virtually 20 years ago, I still led a very modest life. I've never lived beyond my means. So I don't need a lot. I've never needed a lot. And the fact I have an offset mortgage and I have equal to the mortgage amount sat in my offset, so if I want to, I can clear that mortgage off. I could make a phone call a day and I could clear my mortgage. I've drove the Lamborghinis, I've drove the i8, I've had the nice motorbikes, still have a nice motorbike. Doesn't drive me, don't get me wrong, it's nice to be able to experience these things, but if I wanted to, I can get by on probably 60 grand a year, 70 grand a year if I was to pay my mortgage off. I'd pay for my holidays, don't have any other outgoings. I've got this Merc that I'm in now, which is was bought brand new last year, electric, goes through the business. Great on benefit in kind, but I don't do a lot. I don't drink, wear my own disciplined clothing, don't party, don't smoke, but I'm happy. So I don't need to live I don't need to compete with anyone. I didn't ever need to compete with anyone. I didn't pass my driving test until I was 29, and then I drove £170 cars when I was on 100 grand a year. But I don't like lying. I can't tolerate it. It just goes against who I am, because I made a decision in 2006 I wanted to be a millionaire within 10 years, so by 2016, and I stopped playing the lottery. And the reason I stopped playing the lottery was I didn't want anyone to give me it. I wanted to work for it. I wanted it to be hard. I wanted to feel the pain, so that when I got to that point in 2016 and I'd achieved my dream and I'd set myself up, set my family up, that I knew I had to work for that, and I did it the right way. I did it the slow way. I did it the way that nobody can take it away from you. This is why I can make videos like this and nobody can challenge me. None of the trainers want to engage when I'm calling them out and I'm tagging the names. Not one of them want to engage with me because they know categorically the path that I've chose to walk. The amount of people that know me in the army, they know the guy that I was in the army. They know that I was the PTI on camp. They know I passed P company. They know that I was one of the fittest lads on every single camp that I walked on. That's what I built myself. I built myself on something that you can't cheat, something that you can't fucking fake. And it's the reason why today I work with the top athletes that I do, because I've got that fucking substance behind me. So when I see these videos of absolute fucking bullshit saying that trainers have made £1 million a year net, and I look and they've got no fucking staff, nothing at all on company's house that matches. There's a guy last week I called out claiming to do 17 million in a year in construction. Now people have said to me, why are you getting involved? It's not normally your style, Steve. You're normally keeping your own lane. And that is normally my style, just fucking focus on yourself. But when I see people lying like that, if I've got mentees that I'm training to do developments and they go out there now and they go do one of these big developments and they go see a guy like that and go, fucking hell, he does 17 million a year in construction, he'll be great for doing my projects. And when they can't deliver and my mentees have got bridging finance, they're gonna fail. And I don't like that. There's not a single person that can fucking question my results, not one. And that's something I can hold my head up high. I know I can play this video here and there's not fucking one of you that watches this that can go dig into my history and go, right, was he really that guy in the army? Because I was that guy before he even joined the army. I was the guy who was 11 years old or something when my dad was thrashing me on my bike. I had no choice. I had to be this way. There's many reasons why someone could dislike me. So if you don't like swearing, then I could definitely annoy you, or you could definitely dislike me. Being annoyed is a choice, but you could dislike me for that. I'm definitely full on, so that could also piss people off. I also have a very controversial way of dealing with things. Rip the plaster off. I don't believe in this beating around the bush. That's just the way I deal with things. It's why I get shit done. I was the same in the army.